Okay, now we will move on to the questions. And I have a big pack, so I'll just suggest to you that you don't have to take your full time to answer the questions. It will be okay. Okay, and we're going to start with the first question. We're going to rotate around, and we'll start with you, Camille, on this one. Should there be term limits for board members? Why or why not?
Yes. Well, let me begin by saying that one of the finest board members on this board has been Joe Simidian, who then went on to become Assemblyman in Senate. And unfortunately, he has been termed out and is one of the biggest losses that Palo Alto has had. So what is different about this year is generally we run 2 terms, but what happened this year is one of my colleagues, and I thought she was here, decided after 1 term to not run again. And many people asked me to run for stability, for experience, and it was something I had asked my sisters and brothers to come to my last meeting in November, and then they contacted me in later summer and saying, hey, is that date still good? And I said, oh, change of plans. The community did ask me to vote. I reconsidered, and given that one board is stepping down and a board member is stepping down after only 1 term, I am really looking forward to being reelected, and I think I bring a lot to the board.
Ken, would you like to comment on the question?
I do support term limits on the school board and term limit of 2 terms for 8 years. And I think that we've had a practice in Palo Alto of having 2 terms, not obviously by rule, but by practice. I think the last board member to serve 3 terms was elected back in 1969. It's a very long time. And the question is, why is that? Why do we have to limit trust offices in the Palo Alto community? And it's because we want to have a balance in our government agencies of experience and a fresh perspective. And the benefits of a fresh perspective are that we get a continual series of people who have different experiences than those that work with us. And also, our new the board itself is going to bring that sense of having a different understanding about what the board are doing. Joe Simidian is a great example, actually. He did serve 2 terms on the school board, then went on to a storied career right, in local politics. And if we're lucky, the heart of Joe Simidian's career may well end back here on the school board. I've appreciated the counsel of former school board members as I've gone through the years, and I think that's a great position to have. So I do support term limits on the school board, yes.
Melissa, want to comment?
I think we need to put things in perspective here. There are districts outside of just around the corner, Los Altos, where there are board members who've been on the board for over 35 years. That, I would say, is too long. Although she can come and talk to me about that. You know, what happens, it's very interesting. There's a very steep learning curve the first term on the school board. And the knowledge that you gain is really important to make sure doesn't leave the school board. We had a lot of staff turnover with our new superintendent 5 years ago, and we don't want to repeat mistakes over and over and over again. So it's important that we have a balance of new and old, but I also think it's really important that we have experience on the board, not just for our district, but also to provide leadership on educational issues in California. It's very hard to do that in your first term, but beyond that, it becomes easier. You make connections. You're better at going and advocating at the state level. And actually, advocacy at the state level helps everybody in Palo Alto, and it actually helps people in the districts all around California.
Heidi?
So, as Ken was saying, it's important to have a combination of experience and fresh perspective on the board. When I think about this question, I think about 2009, which actually I was considering running for the board back then, which was the last election that would have happened. Both incumbents were going to run for 2nd term, and everyone said, don't even bother running for the school board when there's 2 incumbents running. So there was no opportunity for someone who was very involved in the schools, who has a lot of education background, a lot of great ideas, to come and share those on the school district level when running a viable campaign in Palo Alto was much too difficult against 2 incumbents. So that was challenging, and I ended up deciding not to and waiting until this time around to see if things would be better. If Barbara Klausner had indeed decided to run again, then 3 incumbents would be sitting up here potentially again, and it might deter fresh perspective from coming on the board as well. So I think we need to be careful about those issues as well.